Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganashadasham Tattvamasya Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Nithyanandam. Hi, this is Ma Nitya Ovyananda. Thanks for joining again today for the Upanishads series. This is volume 3 of our series. Today I want to talk about how the Upanishads are the very first books ever written on planet Earth. So yesterday we spoke about how the Upanishads are written by the ancient rishis. So basically they felt that they didn't want to claim any ownership. They didn't even, because the Upanishads are too big and vast. The truths revealed are too big and too vast. So they didn't want to claim any ownership to that. So they didn't want to put their name in there because they know the source is the Upanishads. Those beings were vibrating with the very frequency of the cosmos. So they disappeared into that. So whatever truths they revealed were expressed through them at that time got recorded as Upanishads. So only when they disappeared, the truths were expressed in that way. So that's why they clearly decided they don't own those truths at all, and they're not claiming any ownership. So what's so amazing is that we have a set of books, the very first books in existence. The song itself is about existence. They're so extraordinary that, what other books like that are written? So from the beginning, so many cities and things have been built around planet Earth. But even how many cities and how many tens of thousands of years were built? Can we even claim ownership on the Earth at all? No, we can't. And the same thing with the Upanishads. They're so big, even more than we can imagine. Only when we get into the depth of it, of those books, into those verses, even then we can't realize how deep they go and how important they are and how much they're really reverberating with the cosmos. So it's really amazing, and that's why I wanted to share all of these things that Swamiji is giving us, His Holiness Paramahamsa Nithyananda. So again, I'm reiterating how for months he spoke about the Upanishads, just getting into them, like the introduction to them. Took how many hours for him to discuss. And even now I feel like he can continue to talk about it for so long because there's so much to say. I mean, and there's such deep meanings to everything. So, very first books written on planet Earth, the Upanishads. There's 108 main Upanishads. So, once we finish the introduction, I'm going to go into the first one that we spoke about with Swamiji, which is Ishavasya Upanishad. So of the Vedic tradition, the Upanishads are the very first and foremost books of the Vedic tradition. The lifestyle itself, we're living that lifestyle in our Adinam, in Nithyananda Piram, Bengaluru Adinam, and all the Adinams around the world. Basically, the main things that we follow are in the Upanishads and the Agamas. The Agamas were delivered by Sadashivatva. And that is more like the how-to, like the scientific technology, in a way of how to live life. And the Upanishads are like that being level, of all spiritual thought trends and thought currents. The Upanishads are like that foundation, that main current. Like how Ganga starts, in the Himalayas. How she starts there and comes down from that source. In the same way, that source, that is the Upanishads, that thought current that runs through the Vedic tradition, starts with the Upanishads. So what does it mean, thought trends? There's I guess you can say liberated thinking, is how Swamiji puts it. They developed 6 ways of liberated thinking. So thinking in a style which constantly keeps you excited, enthusiastic, energetic, joyful, rejuvenating yourself, naturally intelligent, and aligned to the laws of life. And of course, naturally blissful. We all want to be blissful. So by our very nature, we are actually blissful. We are intelligent, we are aware, and we are hardwired to experience the peak possibility of the highest existence. That's really the purpose of our life. But unfortunately, we get diverted in so many things. And that's why I'm hoping that, every kind of person can review what I'm saying here and look at these books and look at what we're talking about here and just get a little bit of a click even. I'm not telling people to come and, be Hindu. Of course, that would be great. It would be great for you. But at least if you get some click and understanding, a little bit of awakening inside and understanding just for a moment that what we're going through in life, that Maya, that matrix, that is not reality. We're not the pizza we're eating or, sitting at the ball game or driving the Mercedes. That's really not who we are, and that's not really life. It may seem all and everything, which is very easy because Maya is that way. Until we can see through that veil that covers our eyes, which is Maya, which is the matrix that we're living in, until we see beyond that a little bit or get a little experience or awakening within ourselves, like, there is something more out there. Then once that happens, life becomes more amazing. If you just one time go into the country, especially if you're a city person, and just for a little while, look up at the stars. It's something I always love to do. And you look up at the stars, and especially when there's so many in the sky, and there's so many twinkling and flickering, and sometimes you might see a shooting star, and you see the way they're formed, some of the formations, and even if you're in a really remote place, you could see the Milky Way and how it's just there across the sky. And it makes you wonder, what else is out there? And if you just start to get that thought, hey, there's more out there, and where does it come from? Where did it all begin? Where is it going to end? Does it end? How do I fit in that? That is like a really nice technique if you've never thought about it before. Just go out and look at the stars at night. Not only is it a beautiful experience and a calming experience, but it makes you feel, I'm not going to say small, it makes your problems feel small. It makes the ruts that you're going through life, maybe, at least from my experience, that's how I felt and how I feel when I look at the stars. There's more to life, and I'm part of it. I'm part of this universe and this cosmos. I may be some person on planet Earth, one, person on planet Earth. But again, I always, you can feel that connection to the whole somehow through that also. So you may feel small with your problems, but you may feel big and part of that great universe at the same time. So it's a nice technique. Try it out and see. And let me know in the comments if you've experienced anything with that. So again, back to the Upanishads. So the thought currents behind Hinduism, we're hardwired to experience our peak possibility. And the thought trends which awaken that more and more, those are the thought trends we need to continue to go to. Let's say something happens in our life, like, what's a good example? You go to the grocery store, and you're there, you're looking around at the vegetables, and, excuse me, and you're looking around the vegetables, and then somebody just kind of rams in your cart, In the U.S., we have these funny carts that we push around and fill it up with a bunch of stuff and go. So you're there, and you're pushing your cart, and then someone rams into you. And you're like, hey, what's going on? And you get all upset about it, And and then maybe you have a little argument with that person or whatnot. And then you start to think, then you start to feel like it's personal, because you're getting mad and you feel like somebody bumped into you. Why are they, doing that to you and yelling at you when you're just minding your own business? And then you kind of start to take it personal, and then it kind of gets into something, right? You start to get an elevated kind of feeling in many cases. I'm not saying everybody, but you get kind of that feeling of being a victim maybe, or getting like somebody's against you or something. And it kind of elevates, and then you start to think about other events that happen like that. And it becomes this kind of thing that basically puts you in a bad mood. But if you just kind of take it like, hey, I don't know why that person did it, but, what can I do? And nobody's hurt, everything's okay. The guy's having a bad day or whatever reason. I'm not going to let it affect my day, because I'm taking responsibility for how I feel. I'm taking responsibility for my life and how I don't want to be in suffering, and there's no reason to be. I don't know this person, so they bumped into me. Oh well, I'm going to move on and continue my shopping and get out of here and go home. So there's different ways you can look at things. But the thought trend in the Vedic tradition gets you into that space of liberated thinking. So those thought trends, understanding consciousness, aligning yourself to the consciousness and understanding those laws, that Sankhya, understanding existence, the laws with which nature is functioning, and associated with the source in the consciousness, understanding those laws and aligning to that through the liberated thinking really helps you get into that state of expanding and experiencing the ultimate and fulfillment. And that's those thought currents, you're actually trained in those in a way by reading the Upanishads. They're so powerful. No matter how your thought current is now, the Upanishads, as you read them, they realign your brain, basically. They realign your thought current. So they're that powerful that they can do that. Imagine thinking one way and being one way your whole life, and then really getting into the Upanishads, deciding you want to make a change. Even such a thing like this, that you would think is simple. Oh, I'm just going to read a book and some scriptural references and some, there's some Sanskrit text and with some translation, simple, how can that do anything? But it can, and it will, and it does. So that's why, I'm thinking it's so important to share with you. Imagine changing the thought current of your life and how you've dealt with yourself in your life. Whether you're, happy in your life or not happy, the Upanishads can only help you either become more happy and more successful and have a new way of looking at things, or help you completely revamp your life and how you think. Because how you feel about yourself and life is really the foundation of, are you a happy person or not so happy? Are you a depressed person or what? Who do you want to be? How do you want to be? You can decide, actually. You do have a choice. And the Upanishads can help you rediscover that in yourself and change it. So change it, make it grow, make it better, whatever. It's a powerful tool. And just in the same way, you can have some fried potatoes, but they taste so much better with salt and pepper, don't they? So anyway, not to give such a gross example, because the Upanishads are much deeper than that. But life with spice is much nicer, right? So life then, with a deeper meaning and deeper understanding, puts you even beyond needing to eat food at all. So anyway, thanks so much again for joining today. And I'll see you soon again to talk more about the Upanishads. Nithyananda.